Hello everyone. In the last video lessons, we have completed up to page number 191. So in this video lesson, we'll complete the remaining two pages of the lesson, The Dying Detective. So you can see the text on the screen. I heard the footsteps. I heard a voice say, Holmes, Holmes, can you hear me? So the Watson, Mr. Watson, inside the room, another room near to that room where Holmes lay down. Now a person is coming inside. Who is that person? Mr. Smith. Already Watson went to Mr. Smith home and invited that Holmes is inviting him because Holmes is suffering very bad due to some bad disease. So he invited Mr. Smith to cure that disease, right? So now who is coming inside? Mr. Smith is coming inside to the Holmes room. Okay. Who is hearing this? Mr. Watson, who is next to the Holmes room, is hearing this. Is that you, Mr. Smith? Holmes whispered. So, this is the conversation between Mr. Holmes and Mr. Smith. You know what is wrong with me? You are the only one in London who can cure me. So, Holmes says that Mr. Smith is the only person who can cure the disease. Do you know the symptoms? Asked Mr. Smith. Only too well, Mr. Smith, and he described the symptoms. Okay, he told what are the symptoms he is getting. So, Mr. Smith know about the disease. They are the same, Holmes, Smith said. Poor Victor was dead on the fourth day, a strong and healthy young man. What a coincidence indeed. So, Mr. Smith has murdered someone, the person called Victor. He was healthy and young man. He was dead on the fourth day. Okay. So, here in this story, Mr. Holmes trying to prove that Mr. Smith has murdered the Victor. Okay, but there is no proof. So by doing this drama, he wanted to prove that okay, Mr. Smith was a murderer. Okay, so that's all the story is going on now. I know that you did it, said Holmes. Well, you can't prove it. Give me water, please. Holmes groaned. Ground means a sad voice. Here, I heard Smith's voice. Cure me, please. Well, about Victor Savage's death, you did it. So what he says, he's loudly, Mr. Holmes is telling loudly that about Victor death, you did it. I forgot about everything, but you cure me. So I will not remind it that you murdered Mr. Smith, sorry, Mr. Victor. So please cure me. I'll forget that too. He said. I'll forget about it. You can't forget or remember just as you like. It doesn't matter to me how my nephew died. Watson said you got it from the Chinese sailors. Could be there be any more other reason? So what he says, you can't forget or remember just as you like. Okay, so you know what Mr. Smith says. It is not that you can forget and you can remember. It doesn't matter to me how my nephew died. So Victor was Smith's nephew. Watson said you got it from the Chinese sailors. So what Watson said to Mr. Smith that he got a disease from Chinese sailors. I can't think. My mind is gone. Help me, pleaded Holmes. Did anything come by post? A box by chance on Wednesday. Yes, I opened it and there was sharp spring inside. A joke perhaps. It drew blood, said Holmes. Okay, so already Smith knows that he had sent a box and Mr. Holmes opened it and there inside in the box there is a sharp spring which stuck and drew blood. Drew blood means what? It stuck on the finger or somewhere. After when you suppose if you sting with a pain, what happens? Definitely you'll get a blood, right? So similarly, the box got inside a sharp spring, so it got sting to the finger or somewhere, so it got blood. He got blood out. No, it was not a joke. You fool! You have got it. Who asked you to cross my path? You know you too much about Victor's death. Your end is near. Holmes, I'll carry this box in my pocket. The last piece of evidence. So what he says, Smith know that Holmes was the only evidence about Victor's murder. So Mr. Smith want to murder Holmes. That's why he has sent a box, okay, with a sharp spring. and in that shower spring there was a disease inside. So he's advising him, who asked you to come in my path, so that's why your end is near, so you're going to dead now. Turn up the gas, Smith, said Holmes in a natural voice. Yes, I will, so that I can see you better. There was a silence. Then I heard Smith says, what all this? Now he realized that Holmes is acting. Okay, Holmes didn't get contact with any disease, but he is acting that he got a disease so that he can prove that Smith was a murderer. Successful acting, said Holmes. For 3 days I didn't taste anything, neither food nor drink. There were footsteps outside. The door opened and I heard Inspector Morton's voice. I arrest you on the charge of murder, he said. If so, let me bring Sir Jaspet Meek or Penrose Fisher or Holmes. There was a sudden rush and scuffle followed by the clash of iron and sudden cry of pain. Now Mr. Smith was arrested by who? You see this, there was an inspector called Morton. Okay, so outside of the room, okay, so he heard every conversation uh, between Mr. Smith and Mr. Holmes. So by this conversation, Mr. Smith agreed that he was a murderer and he's going to murder Holmes too. So that's why Mr. Moran come inside and he arrested on the charge of the murder. So who got arrested now? Mr. Smith got arrested, right? Now here in these lines, now what Watson says, let me go and bring some other doctors. Now what happened? Suddenly there was a sudden rush and scuffle. Scuffle means what? Some fighting, some. And then after a clash of irons, cuffs, handcuffs. There was a click of handcuffs. Holmes asked me to come in. Sorry, Watson. I was rude to you. I undermined your capability as a doctor. It was just to get Smith here, and I didn't want you to know that it was not ill. But your appearance, I said, 3 days fasting and make you did the trick. The coins. Oh, that was only to prove that I was delirious. He laughed. I need to eat now. Watson, Mr. Smith killed his nephew and he wanted to kill me the same way to avoid imprisonment. So I need to eat now, Watson. I think that's something nutritious at Simpsons would not be out of place, and thank you, Watson, he said. Now what happens? Suddenly he apologized to Watson that he was rude to the Watson because he undermined his capability and he acted just because to bring Smith there in order to prove that Smith was a murderer. Okay, and he didn't want to know that he was not ill. Okay, so then only Watson will bring, right? So that's why he didn't reveal that he was ill. He was not ill, and he didn't contact with any diseases. But your appearance, I said. So when Holmes uh, asked Watson to go and get Mr. Smith, his appearance was very bad. Appearance was very bad means he looks like exactly about how the person looks when he get contact with the disease. So, but what he says, 3 days fasting and makeup did the trick. So for 3 days he didn't eat anything. He did fasting. That's why he looked like that. Okay, and the coins. Oh, that was only to prove that I was delirious. He laughed. So I need to eat now, Watson. Now, what he says, I want to eat, get some nutritious thing. And now Mr. Smith killed his nephew, and he wanted to kill me the same way how he killed his nephew. So I wanted him to go to the prison. So that's why this all dramas went on. Okay. So that was the end of the story. I hope you understood the concept. Now this is a wonderful story actually. Okay. So make sure you read the story from page number 1. I think it starts with page number 189. Okay, so page number 189. So go through all the 4 pages so that you will understand easily. Thank you, children.